Well, hello world, welcome to Raccoon Point Studios. I'm Sean Bombs, and I am getting into synths like crazy lately. I've done some things on this channel talking about recording the tape, 4-track cassette, and I've been seeing a lot of people online going DAW-less. I grew up DAW-less, so I was like, you know what, why not go back to my roots a little bit here, but I have way more stuff to mess around with than I ever did. So I want to go through what I'm doing. I am recording a 4-song EP, all to 4-track tape, using drum machine, this synthesizers, drum machines, sampler, guitar pedals, and a guitar, yes, and some vocals. I'm not using the console because I want this to be more of a bedroom studio kind of thing. I want this to be more obtainable to most. And you say, oh, there's all this crap. But when you really look at it, this thing was like $100. This thing was $100. This thing was $300. This thing was 500. You know what I mean? Like, it does add up. But if you get a few smaller, cheaper keyboards, or even one, and a drum machine used, you know what I mean? Like an old Boss drum machine, you can get them for like $50 to $100. Or even a KO2, which I recommend just because it's way more powerful than your average drum machine because you can sample stuff. You can do all this stuff fairly cheap if you already have a synth, some guitar pedals, and you want this kind of thing or this aesthetic, then hopefully this video finds you. So what I did was I ran all the synths and the drum machine into the Soundcraft and going out of the master fader into 2 channels of the 4-track. So that's a basic tracking.
Clap, clap. She got the clap. She got the clap.
While I did that, I sang vocals because I didn't know how I was arranging things yet, even though it's just one type of thing with some leads and all that stuff going on. I did that just so I had some cues going on. I used the Arturia key step to program a sequence, and that was controlling the Behringer, and the Behringer was going into the HX stomp, which was giving it a non-lid reverb, retro, vibrato type of thing. The Korg was going through the Shields blender into the Source Audio reverb pedal, Ventris. And then I had programmed the JX08 to not really be a bass, but more of a string type of a lower end thing underneath, just to fill it out a little bit, because I just let the drums be the low end. And then for my MIDI, I'm using this MIDI Solutions. So the drum machine or the sampler is going into that, and then all the outputs of that thing are going to various pieces, so they can sync up in time. Even this HX stomp is syncing, so I didn't have to worry about the delay. Now for the vocals, I tapped that in because I wanted to have control in case I wanted to go in between a little bit, but I didn't, but I just left it like that. And for the guitar, the Boss ME90, and then I just used the SM7B into the Line 6 DL4 MK2 for the vocal. So that's basically it. that was the process. I recorded a scratch vocal, then wrote lyrics to whatever and ad-libbed. Maybe changed a few things when I was singing. Hey, cutting in here because while I was editing, I realized that I failed to mention about the Rolls MICMUTE that I was using. Now, it serves two purposes. The first purpose is when I'm tracking stuff and I'm not singing and I want to use my loudspeakers, I don't have to worry about feedback. I don't have to turn anything down or unplug anything, so all my settings can stay where they're at. The second purpose is recording to a 4-track tape machine. If the mic's live and there's big spaces of no singing, I can leave it recording and not have, you know, the hiss or the background noise or the headphones. The other thing is when recording onto these little cassette tapes, sometimes if you have spaces where you don't record but you recorded a bunch of other stuff, then the other music that's being recorded can sometimes be degraded a tiny bit, and when your vocals cut out and there's no recording on that part of the tape, then the rest of the music can sound different or louder or fuller or whatnot because it's just a small tape, you know what I'm saying? So that's the other reason that I'm using the MICMUTE. Hopefully that made sense. Back to the video. All right, so I printed the DAW-less recording from the tape machine into a DAW so I could distribute it worldwide. So now that it's in the computer, I want to get it up to level. When I am done recording everything, then I will do a final master where I actually get everything to be cohesive. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for to try to get the things to sound like they're from the same record or recording. I have the API 2500 handling the bus compression and more, you know, it's just a tiny bit, and then give it a little bit more level, bring it up a little bit, but it's actually, you know, I like the way it sounds and what it does. And then I use the Pultec, and if you use one of these from UAD, just putting it on, it adds like harmonic content. So you put it on and it automatically just is going to put a little bit more hair on it without you even EQing anything. And yeah, some of it might be a little bit of level due to what plugin manufacturers do. I just boosted 60 at 1 and 10K 4.5 with a medium broad curve. And that's it, you know. And then the last thing in my chain here is the Oxford limiter, and I do use the enhance, but like at 30, I think anything past that is usually too much. And I boosted it, you know, to get like a dB of gain reduction. I'm not trying to get -3, -6, and I don't care about any of that. I find it for what I do to be ridiculous. So I'm just gonna start it where the drums come in. So like I'm not trying to change what I had too much. I'm just trying to give it some more, you know, push just a little bit, but I'm not trying to completely change it. I'm gonna take the EQ in and out because I think that's the biggest change of all of it. I mean, the compressor is bringing up some low level and helping the drums to kind of pulse better, but the EQ is really doing a lot of extra magic, I think. So I feel like the EQ makes it a little bit taller sounding to me in here. I don't know how it sounds to you, whatever you're listening to it on. Please don't be listening to this on your iPhone speakers or your Galaxy speakers or whatever. At least put some headphones on. But in here, it just, it goes from this and this to and that for me, you know. And like I said, I'm not trying to completely change the intention of the sonics because I use the tape for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I want it to have a mushy kind of, you know, what sound is what, you know what I mean, kind of thing, where it's, you know, you hear things pop in and out, but they're not exactly like clear as day, you know? That's what I'm going for. And that's what I'm getting. So I'm gonna do my final print of this for my working structure or working, you know, album stuff, and start working on the next song that I'm gonna do. Who knows what it's gonna be like, but I will start working on that, and when I'm start getting that together, I'll upload some more stuff about it. And then eventually all these songs I'm going to put on Bandcamp and whoever, I don't know. I might just make it Bandcamp only because I don't fucking like, I just don't like any of the streaming services anymore at all. Well, I never did, but that's because I grew up without them. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like artists, we need to come together and like do our own fucking thing and cut out the middleman because they're killing us. They're killing us. Alright? Anyway, if you got anything out of this, subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell. Help me get to 10 billion. And, yeah. And if I get to 10 billion, you know what I mean? I can solve world hunger. Which I would do in a heartbeat. So, love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. Bye.